Now, the other two drugs that he tested positive for, the oxymorphone and the hydromorphone, he did not have a prescription for, and that's what he wants to explain to you today, as well as his positive test for the hydrocodone. These are all Schedule II pain medications for serious chronic pain. They're Schedule II drugs because they're strong, and they're Schedule II drugs because they're viewed as having, they may be addictive to the person taking them. So these are, to my understanding, they're painkillers, and he wants to explain his use of them today.
Mr. Parisyan?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
About 3 years ago, training for a fight.
And make sure to speak as loudly as you feel comfortable.
Sure. Well, a lot of people, so I'm kind of nervous. Training for a fight 3 years ago for a championship match, I tore a hamstring that led me out of the fight, and I couldn't fight the championship fight against Matthews back in 2005. And the torn hamstring never healed. I never really went to therapy at all. And if you really see my leg, it looks deformed. I have a chunk of muscle missing from my leg, and I have a big scar tissue. Ever since then, my leg never healed. So I've always had pain. I've always gone to see my doctor, and off and on, as we speak, I'm doing acupuncture because not treating my leg led me to this right now. I'm getting acupuncture on the leg, trying to make everything better. Basically, what happened was I have a prescription for Norcos. Before the fight, I hadn't fought for a year because of anxiety and panic attacks, and also my leg. So I was back after a year, and Wednesday I got to the fight in Vegas, and I was trying to cut some last minute weight. I forgot to bring my prescription pain pills, which were the Norcos. One of my friends that has a chronic disease had Percocets. Percocets apparently has two kind of oxymorphone and the other drug inside. I asked him, he said, is the pain pills just like yours? I said, is it the same thing? They said, yes. And I took 2 pills that he gave me, and that was it. And then my father brought my prescription pills, which you guys have the prescription. My doctor faxed it over. And the morning of the fight, my leg was bothering me again. I took 2 pills for my leg so I can function and go on. After the fight, after I brought back to the locker room, Tony, heavy-set man with a mustache, I said, listen, I took some pain pills, I have a prescription for it, I want to let you know. And he said, as long as it's not an anabolic drug that give you an advantage over your opponent, or any kind of cocaine or whatever, you should be fine. I said, great.
This was after the fight?
Yes, sir. 2 days later, Mike from the UFC texted me and said, fax me a prescription copy. I had my doctor fax the prescription copy, and a week later, everything blew up. Karo Parisyan got positive pain pills, etc. Now, commissioners, I'm just gonna speak just like I would speak if I wasn't alone in this room with you guys. I'm a religious kid. I only beg to God. I'm begging you guys. This is the only form of income I provide my family with. I take care of my whole family. If I don't fight, I'm basically nothing in my life. One, second of all, I don't really care about myself. I only care about my family. An unintentional mistake that will never happen again. I will pay for any random test you guys want. 4 or 5 times a year. I would take tests before every fight, which is already going to happen. I heard from Mr. Chris here. What I'm trying to say is that I'm very, very sorry for what happened. It was completely unintentional. I promise you it will never happen again. You know, for some reason, my career right now is in your hands. Okay, I'm supposed to get married in August, and if I don't fight, I don't get married. I don't do anything, which is not your problem. But right now, on your hearing, on your ruling, you know, it can pretty much throw me in the toilet. So,
Is this your signature at the bottom of this
Yes, sir.
pre-fight check-in?
Yes.
You answered no to the question, have you received any prescribed medication in the last 2 weeks?
Yes.
Why?
My answer to that is basically that I totally forgot about everything. I didn't really care about anything. All I cared about was trying to fight. I hadn't fought for a year. I was too excited. That completely meant nothing to me, which it should have, obviously. That's why I'm here today.
You realize how important this is?
Yes.
Let me
Now
finish.
I do.
Let me finish. You realize how important this sheet is to our physicians who examine you pre-fight?
Yes, sir.
They have to know everything that's going on with you pre-fight in order to help protect you from a health and safety standpoint. And you apparently just decided to not be truthful or completely blow off your responses to this pre-fight questionnaire. Is that what you did?
Not in those terms. I didn't try to blow anything off, and I wasn't even thinking about that. It was unintentional, sir. Mr. Bailey, it was unintentional.
Why did you feel compelled to tell the inspector after the fight?
Because my mind was calm, I was thinking about fights or anything else. When I saw the urine test, I was like, oh my God. And I came back to reality, basically. I was like, oh, listen, this is what I did, I have discovered, I'm very sorry, what do I have to do now? And he said, as long as it's not an anabolic drug that give you an advantage over your opponent, which this actually shut my respiratory system down. It put me to sleep. I mean, I couldn't believe, empty stomach, nervous, couldn't eat. The day of the fight, took these pills. I don't know how I was walking out the fight.
Do you realize that we cannot have fighters drifting in and out of the state of reality?
Of course not. I just didn't happen. I've helped the sport.
The fact that you're saying you came back to reality after the fight?
Well, reality meaning like my mind. I had a thought for you. I was excited when I was like, okay, now actually I can focus on certain stuff. Mr. Bailey, this has never happened to me. This is embarrassing for me. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Let me tell you something. We, over the last 5, 6, 7 years that I've been on the commission, we've had a number of people sit in that same spot having the same kinds of issues, not this particular medication or this particular drug, but different kinds of drugs and steroids. And for the most part, it's been their first time as well. And they have depended on them, their families, people around them. We hear all of that all the time. We have got to know that each fighter is going to be responsible to this commission to do the right thing at all times. Not after the fight, at all times. Do you understand that? Do you understand how important it is that if you don't give us proper information, that we cannot help you, we cannot do what we're charged with doing in terms of trying to protect you, in terms of your health and safety?
Yes, of course I understand.
Let me, if I can try a motion.
Mr. Bailey.
Let's see if this goes anywhere. I would move that Mr. Parisyan has been deemed guilty under the disciplinary complaint. I would applaud his willingness to come forward and admit, at least at this point in time, the occurrences and the facts which underlie that disciplinary charge. I would move that he be fined a total of 40% of $80,000, that his result be changed from a win to a no decision, that he be suspended for 9 months from the date of the event, and that he be required to provide us with a negative test result before he is allowed to engage in unarmed combat here in the state of Nevada in the future. And I would note to that I believe, at least speaking for myself and perhaps listening to some of the comments from the other commissioners, that in the future, should any contestant, boxing and or mixed martial artist, be given as a part of their compensation, a bonus, and if they find themselves in front of us on a disciplinary matter involving the ingestion of a prohibited substance, that the win portion of their compensation will be immediately forfeited, if they're found guilty, will be immediately forfeited to the state, and that then we will assess punishment, monetary punishment, on the remaining guaranteed portion of their compensation.
You all understand the motion?
And I think it's a fair compromise in view of the situation that we find ourselves in.
Can I take that as a second?
May I add one thing as far as to this?
One comment.
As I think that Mr. Parisyan should be subjected to random testing if we deem necessary during the period of his suspension, in addition to he reapplies then for at the end of his.
Okay, motion as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Parisyan. And understand if you've missed anything, you get Mr. Eccles or Mr. Kaiser. Thank you for your appearance here today. The best to you in the future. Next item is number 7. Request by Sterling